Hey everybody, in this video I wanted to go over some split testing stuff that I've been looking at in kind of a practical context with my Facebook ads and with Leadjetty. The main purpose of this video is just to show you how split testing works, some of the new features, but then also to kind of look at some of the things you have to consider when you're running a bunch of different Facebook ads. So I made a video yesterday about a new campaign that I'm running, and it was looking at audience overlaps. And I think it's actually turning out pretty interesting so far, but we'll see what happens. So I was previously running this CST leads campaign down here, which you can see we only spent 140 bucks, so nothing really all that significant. We were getting $1.85 per lead, 55-cent clicks. So that was going pretty well, and it stayed pretty consistent. We were only doing 25 bucks a day, so what is that, like 6 days almost, 5.5 days, something like that. So we ran that, and it was only one ad set, so there wasn't a ton of variation in the quality of the people coming to the site or anything like that. And then yesterday I launched this much more extensive campaign with a little bit bigger budget on it. If you want to know the details, there's a video that explains exactly what's happening here. And you can see we have, some interesting results so far. We have a couple of ad sets that are, or one ad set in particular that's actually beating the others. So that's cool. We'll come back to that in another video once we have more data and analyze it. But I wanted to point out that we have a much broader range of results here, and these are different audiences. They're all mutually exclusive, and so in actual fact, the results should likely vary a fair bit. And over here in Leadjetty, if we look at our flows, so if you've been following along, you'll notice some different stuff. If you're brand new, you won't know anything about this, but a couple of new things here. So first of all, these little toolbars are brand new. So we wanted to kind of condense some of the functionality because it was a little bit ugly and a little bit wordy. So this kind of just is a little toolbar. You have a preview, open the live version in a new tab, edit, and then delete. And then this just tells you whether or not this thing is actually on right now. It doesn't mean there's actually traffic coming to it, but it does mean that there's an active variant inside of there. Anyway, so another thing we can do now is we can actually filter. So we can look at just the flows for Central Standard Tech. And then we broke down the subflows so that you can click and show subflows under anything that has subflows. So there's some other videos about how to set those up, but previously they were all just displaying all the time, and it was a little overwhelming to look at. So we kind of cut that out. So the main reason I actually wanted to film this video is because I came in earlier and I saw this, and earlier it was actually 9%. And so, when you're dealing with very limited data, this isn't necessarily meaningful, but at the same time, when you're a marketer, particularly if you're new to this, which my background is actually software engineering, so I kind of just got into marketing in the past couple of years, and it kind of freaks you out a little bit when you have a number like this and then you start seeing 9%. But the truth is, these are actually identical under the hood. So if we look at the first step of these things, I mean, it's exactly the same in both cases. I'm not going to sit here and make you read them both. But they're no different. And so it kind of raises the question, well, why is that happening? And the reason that it's happening is because Facebook is sending us different traffic. I guess from a very mathematical perspective, I don't know. Well, we can actually check. Hold on one second. So we're actually going to be adding significance tests to the variance level. So if you click into this, you can create multiple variants here, and so we're going to tell you whether one is statistically better than the other or not. It doesn't really make much sense to have that at the property level. Not the property level, the flow level, because these could be totally different things, and so the conversion rates may not be related at all. But that said, I pulled up a significance calculator. So let's throw that in there. So we have 57 over 263. So we have 263, and then 57. And then back over here, 19 over 135. So 135, and then 19. And so this is interesting, right? Because it's saying test A converted 54% better. We're 98% sure. So it's saying that we actually have statistical significance, but this is wrong. And the reason that this is wrong is because even though the pages are identical, the traffic coming from Facebook is not identical. And so this is something that you have to pay very close attention to, because let's say that you're running a landing page on any platform. If you suddenly switch the traffic source or you launch a new ad campaign, you really need to set up a fresh landing page that doesn't already have results. Because if you make a significant edit on the Facebook side, the actual traffic coming could convert at a lower rate because the audience isn't right, or maybe it's better, and you won't know that. And so you really want to do A/B tests on your, or split testing on your landing page software side once you have stable traffic from Facebook. So my degree is in physics, and I don't know if you ever watched the Big Bang Theory TV series, but there's a really funny joke, if you know physics at all, where essentially the punchline is, I solved your problem, but you have to use a spherical chicken. And in physics, the thing is, you're always trying to identify mechanical properties, and so you're always oversimplifying things and saying, okay, well, we have to treat this object as a sphere, and this sphere has to be in a vacuum, or whatever. And the reason I bring that up is because that's sort of what we're doing right here, right? Like you're only sending traffic from one source potentially to a landing page, and that might be, in all likelihood, if you have a business of any size, a little bit unrealistic. You're going to have traffic coming from all sorts of places, in which case, if you have large enough numbers, then a lot of what I'm saying may not make sense, right? Because the traffic source is so mixed at a large number that it doesn't really matter where it's all coming from. The results are going to make sense in the sense that if you get different conversion rates, they do matter. The nice thing about the Facebook ad situation is we can actually tell, because we know we're sending ads straight from this place to that place, and we know that's the only place they're coming from. And I actually think that's quite a good argument for an experimental model. So let's suppose you want to test a page. If you can send the same traffic to two different pages, then you have something where you can say this page is actually better than the other, because we know that the traffic is, at least in the most controlled sense possible, similar or the same. And that's why we actually have this variance idea. So what we do here is you actually have just one URL. And if you had multiple variants here, it's going to randomly select a variant to put people through once they land on your landing page. So let me back up and just kind of try to simplify this, because I know that I have a tendency to overcomplicate things. So I'm going to filter down to this Leadjetty thing, which we're obviously using Leadjetty. So we're advertising Leadjetty on Leadjetty, which is nice. But I wanted to just kind of try to simplify what I was saying. So if you look here in our naming convention, we just wrote a little ebook called Max Revenue about how digital agencies can find some sort of untapped revenue sources. And then we're saying it's Facebook ads. So whenever I want to post a link on YouTube, for example, to download this ebook, I'm going to create a new flow. I'm just going to duplicate this, and I'm going to make a YouTube version of it. And the reason that I want to do that is because that lets me know, where to attribute the traffic, and it gives me some sense of the traffic, because I bet the two would have different conversion rates. And it's not possible to know because you're not targeting people on YouTube. It's just search organic kind of stuff, right? So I can't necessarily say the quote unquote quality of the traffic. It just is what it is. But I want to segment things as much as possible so that I can actually have some confidence that, okay, from YouTube traffic, this page converts better than that page. From my Facebook traffic, this page converts better than that page. If you mix it all up, you really just don't know anything or it's not performing as well as it could be, I suppose. So anyway, that's just kind of my 2 cents. I'm kind of working through it myself, so that's a lot of that sounds like I'm lecturing, but really I'm working it out as we speak. So I hope this is helpful for you. I'm trying to do more of this. It helps me actually think through my own processes here. And yeah, so if you like this kind of thing, just subscribe to the channel, click the thumbs up, and I'll keep making more. But I think that's it for now. So I'll talk to you in the next one.